next, I'd like to introduce Debbie Posney, and she will come up and speak about our next award winner.
Good morning. We are so delighted to be here. I'm going to talk about a very special woman who not only has bloomed where she was planted, but has nurtured the soil, watered the roots, and inspired others to grow right alongside her. 2 months ago, I got a call, and I was invited to join Lois Wray here today. She said, I have a little favor to ask, and that would be, could you introduce me? Because I might get an award. Really, Lois? You're going to get an award? Yeah, but kind of keep it a secret. But the reason why I invited you was because you being the executive director of suicide prevention, you can talk about your nonprofit agency and how much you do in the community. Well, Lois, I'm not going to take your advice because just in case you get that award, I want to set it up right. So let's take you back a bit to how this Nevada chapter of Lois's life began. Dan Wray, being the smart man that he was, decided that California was not going to be a place where he wanted to stay too much longer. So he set his sights on Nevada, where the Northern Nevada Development Authority promised smoother sailing. And like any loving husband, Dan turned to Lois and said, I'm moving to Nevada. Want to come? The only catch, Wes, their youngest, was still in school. So while Dan packed up for Nevada in 2011, Lois commuted back and forth for 2 years. Wes went off to college, and Lois moved to Nevada permanently. And as you will hear, the Silver State has never been the same. But what Lois did next goes beyond planting roots. She restored the historic Pink House, a local treasure that would have crumbled if not for her efforts. Now, a beautiful sight. Lois's dedication to our valley doesn't stop at historical preservation. She served on the Carson Valley Hospital Foundation board and even funded the Pink Fund, which has provided so much support to those in need. Her leadership has also felt on the Chamber of Commerce board, the Carson Valley Visitors Authority, as well as the Business Council of Douglas County. Oh, and let's not forget the role with Fortnightly, the oldest women's service organization where she now serves as treasurer. Lois participated in Douglas County Leadership Program, received the Minden Rotary prestigious Paul Harris Award, the Spotlight Award for Best New Business, and the honor of being named Citizen of the Year. Last year, the Business Council recognized her for her preservation, culture, and history. But more than awards and titles, what truly defines Lois and the entire Wray family is their belief in blooming where they are planted, being good stewards of the community and generously sharing their blessings. They have touched countless organizations, such as the Boys and Girls Club, with a beautiful building that they now can call home. We are all better for what Lois has blessed us with. 6 years ago, Suicide Prevention Network had planned a memorial ride for a well-known and beloved dentist in the Valley who had tragically died by suicide. It was called Andy's Ride. And let me tell you, everything that we planned was falling apart. We just needed a site to meet. So I took a deep breath and called Lois and said, I just simply want to know if we can meet at the Pink House. Without hesitation and her signature grace, she said, "Not only can you meet at the Pink House, but those 35 writers will be my guest." I couldn't believe it. I was floored. I said, "Lois, I didn't call. That's not what I expected." And she said, "You just had to ask." Years later, after the pandemic, Lois called me just to catch up. She had hoped she wasn't bothering me at the office and asked what I was working on. I mentioned, almost in passing, the budget for our agency and how difficult the upcoming year was going to be. The conversation moved on. 2 weeks later, at a social event, Lois and I were there together, and she greeted me with, "No worries about your budget. Did you get my donation?" I stood there in shock. I didn't even want to stay at the social event because I had to run to the mailbox. And when I opened up that letter, I cannot even express to you how good it felt, because that donation not only helped our nonprofit agency, it helped the community. That's Lois in a nutshell. Quiet, generosity, thoughtful care, and always showing up for her community. But more, what I admire most of Lois is gratitude for the simple yet profound acts of kindness that make Carson Valley so special. Our community is a place where people stop when someone is in need, respect one another, and continue to build healthy relationships. And as Lois herself has recently experienced, it's a community that shows up with care in support when illness strikes. Lois, your legacy of kindness, leadership, and service runs deep. Thank you for all that you've done and for showing us what it truly means to grow, to give, and to thrive in a community that is so lucky to call you one of our own. In closing, I want to say that I am fortunate to have a friendship with someone who silently and selfishly gives so much of herself. Lois Wray is the kind of person whose generosity speaks volumes, even when she isn't looking for recognition. It's been a privilege to witness her dedication, and I am so pleased and honored to call her my friend. So I hope, Lois, if you get that award, I hope I did you good. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, back at you.
Thank you. Okay, if I were smart, I would just say thank you and be seated. But I want to make one correction to all the kind things that Debbie said. Dan didn't say, "Would you like to come?" when he was moving to Nevada. He said, "I'm moving to Nevada. You can come too." So, you know, I didn't realize Debbie was going to steal my line about blooming where you're planted. I believe in that. And I have to say that working alongside all of you, you make it easy to do just that. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And BCDC, thank you for the award.